What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to start prototyping some new rear fenders. Now I've got this back down on the ground and aired out. I actually have 0 PSI in the rear bags. So I've got about a ½ inch gap here at the top. In theory, I could go a little bit lower. I would just need to shorten the struts here in the rear. I did lengthen them actually twice from where they were new. So I know I can go lower in the back if I really want. This will probably be low enough for fully aired out, but I'm really not gonna know until I have fenders on. And I've been looking at this for a while and trying to figure out exactly what I wanna do. I know that I wanted it to look like the front. I want to have a quarter that is spaced out. And I've thought about building it completely from scratch, you know, mocking up some cardboard and trying to build it all out of metal. But I think that's going to be very difficult to make it look exactly the way I want. So I've now decided that I'm going to actually use a Mustang stock quarter panel and bump it out in some fashion. So I'm going to need to get a couple stock quarter panels. And luckily, I actually called the junkyard where I bought this Mustang. It's not exactly a junkyard, it's a Mustang specific junkyard. He just has Mustangs. So I called him up and he said he does have a V6 Mustang that he's willing to let me cut up myself to get the quarter panels out of it. So that's really awesome, and he's actually pretty local to me. So that's my plan. I'm gonna go get quarter panels. I don't know exactly how I'm going to be mounting them yet, but I know that I do want to use the stock quarter panels from a Mustang. That will give me the look that is just like the front, that nice little bumped out stance, and I think it'll match really well. And once that's in place, I think it'll actually make the front look a lot better as well. So that's my plan. I'm gonna head out here soon and get over to that junkyard and start cutting away. I know it's gonna be a little bit of a pain because, you know, from my last video, you can see that the outer and the inner are connected all through here, and then also at the bottom and the top here. I know I'm gonna have to cut up here somewhere. So I'm really not sure how it's gonna go. I'm hoping for the best, but we're about to find out. I now got both fenders cut off from this V6 Mustang here. So I did the passenger side first. It was a little simpler because there was no gas filler neck. So I cut here along the rocker panel, up the door seam, across the top, back, right around the taillight section there, and then down along following that body line, and then into the wheel well. And then I had the wheel off, of course. And I had the angle grinder in there and cut the whole way up across. I just made sure I was in far enough past that pinch section where the inner and outer come together, and then back down towards the rocker panel. After I cut that, I was a little worried because it wasn't coming off, and I saw this here, which is like a foam adhesive sealer, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to get that off or have to cut the quarter panel up higher, but with a little bit of prying, that came right off. Then over here on the driver's side, exact same process. The only thing I had to deal with was the gas filler neck. And luckily it wasn't actually welded to this inner fender here. It was actually just more of that sealant. So I just got a little pry bar in there and a little screwdriver and started prying away, and eventually got that to pop right off. So now the fender still retains all of the features for the gas door. And here are the fenders. They're both in really good shape. No big dents or anything. And like I said here, the features for the gas door are all completely left intact, so if I want, I can reuse the gas door exactly how it was. So I'm pretty pleased with how that went. It wasn't super simple, but I got it done. It was probably about 2 hours here to get those cut off. So now I can put them back in the Jeep and head back to my place. We're now back in the garage. I got the quarters here. I was glad I got to cut them out myself because then I was able to take everything that I needed. I basically took everything because I don't know exactly how much of the quarter I'm going to use. So now that I have it back here, I'm able to cut it to the exact size that I need. So even though it was a lot more work doing it myself, I could control what exactly I'm getting. And it was actually a lot cheaper. I paid $300 for both quarters. And if you look online, buying new ones are like $1,000 each side. And you know, online junkyard type stuff looks like it's like $400, $450 per side. So I really made out by going out and cutting it myself. And that's going to be it for today. Next time I'm going to start cutting the quarters to the final shape that I want. I'm going to also be figuring out exactly how I'm going to mount them. I have some ideas, but I'm not completely sure yet how I'm going to mount it on the top and the bottom. And another big decision is where I'm going to cut it in the front. I think I know where I'm going to cut it in the back, but you know, I won't really know until I start putting them up there. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that went, getting the quarters. I was a little worried about that process and how difficult it was going to be, and also where I was going to get the quarters from. So now I have them in my hands. So now comes the fun part of getting these on the car.